this guy is the reason that you don't make enough money with your content, right? And so he's representing Google over here, and so he has a natural vested interest in stopping you from getting crypto. So yeah, these platforms, YouTube's worth 100 billion plus, right? Instagram's worth 100 billion plus. Are you getting any of that money? Do you think you should get more of that money from the content that you're creating? Yeah. Obviously, this guy over here doesn't want you to get that money, right? He wants Google to keep all the money for himself.
Who here likes having a bank account and not having access to it anymore? What, nobody? Really? Okay, then maybe Web3 is not for you. There's actual people that have lost hundreds of millions of dollars because they cannot access their wallets anymore. You should not be the guinea pigs.
You're attacking a frontier technology in the very early days.
Ben is going to be talking about why crypto is great, and Paul is going to talk about why crypto is not great. Each person will have 2 minutes in the beginning to present their side. After that, we will open it up. We'll go back and forth. Maybe I will interject. Maybe I will ask a question. At the end, we will have a closing 1 minute statement. And after that, what do? Do you remember what we do? A poll, exactly. So you will vote who is going to win. And I'm not sure, Ben, which team are you on?
I'm on the pro crypto team.
No, but like the more important conversation is Team Bellic or Team Matt? Which one are you on?
Sorry, okay, Team Bellic,
okay, good.
obviously, woo!
Team Matt.
Very good, okay? So just keep that in mind as well in case you're thinking of who should win. Are we ready to start?
Ladies and
gentlemen,
gentlemen,
we have 24
let's do
minutes
it.
on the clock. Ben, would you like to go first?
I'll take it, all right. Woo! Okay, so first, crypto powered. I love it. Okay, the crowd's already with us. This is good. First, okay, so I want to do a show of hands. How many people here create content? Raise your hand. Awesome. Okay, how many people like money here? Raise your hand. Nice, okay, more people. That's even good. Okay, how many people wish you made more money with your content? Raise your hand. Good. Okay, so this guy is the reason that you don't make enough money with your content, right? And so he's representing Google over here, and so he has a natural vested interest in stopping you from getting crypto and stopping you from getting into Web3. So for a quick show of hands, how many people are familiar with the term Web3? Oh, good. Okay, so we have a good audience here. I'm going to explain real quick to everyone else what Web3 is, why it's good for you as a content creator, and someone who just wants to make money, right? And so Web3 is the new iteration of the web where you're able to own content as well as be able to create content and to consume content from other people. And so in the past, all you have are monopolies like Google, right? They take all the money. You know, hey, Desire, how much money does YouTube take on your videos? What's 55%. Isn't that crazy? Do you think YouTube should take 55%? Is there a boo in here? Woo! Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, these platforms, YouTube's worth 100 billion plus, right? Instagram's worth 100 billion plus. Are you getting any of that money? Do you think you should get more of that money from the content that you're creating? Yeah. That's what Web3 is going to let you do, okay? And obviously, this guy over here doesn't want you to get that money, right? He wants Google to keep all the money for himself. And that's exactly what Web3 is all about, is you're going to... What's up?
They're
spying on us too, exactly. Yeah, they're spying on you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting team support over here. Yeah, any other things you hate about Google, just let me know, and let's put it on stage. But yeah, so they don't want you to own the platform. They take all the money for themselves, right? And you have nothing you can do about it because where else are you going to go? They were like, YouTube's the only place because we own the whole network effect, right? You leave us, you leave all your followers behind, you lose all your content. That's all owned by us. That's what the web is like today. Crypto is all about you taking ownership over everything in your life, your content, the money that you can make from your content, everything. And so in Web3, what we're moving towards is decentralized ownership, collective ownership. When you create something, you deserve to own the platform that you're creating on. You deserve to be able to capture all the money from what you create, not just 45%, not just a tiny fraction. And right now, you can't do that in the existing world. So Web3 is going to change that. So if you're with me, woo!
Well done. Okay, Ben started. That was a very hardcore attack from the beginning. You started off attacking, then you said why it's good. 2 minutes, Paul, to make some revenge.
Here we go. All right. So who here likes losing money? who here likes being scammed out of money? Who here likes having a bank account and not having access to it anymore? What, nobody? Really? Okay, then maybe Web3 is not for you. Because So let's pretend for a fact that Web3 is not a Ponzi scheme and pump and dump, whatever. Okay, so, and let's forget about the fact that, Bitcoin transactions in a year take the energy consumption of Finland, right? Okay, great. If you would take away from that, there's actual people that have lost hundreds of millions of dollars because they cannot access their wallets anymore. So if you don't get completely familiar with the Web3 space, with crypto, with NFTs, you're going to get scammed. You're going to get scammed badly, and that means that, for instance, good example, NFTs. If you are selling an NFT, if you're creating an NFT, a lot of these people that create NFTs are selling them to themselves to pump up the price, right? And so you might not realize this, but it's a thing. Or there's no validation in NFT land if an artist doesn't want their art to be used as an NFT. Also interesting thing. Do you think those NFTs that were created initially still work? Well, it turns out they don't. Because an NFT is not actual art. It just links to art, and sometimes it's on a domain, and that domain is broken, and it's gone. And so that NFT is worthless. So that's not great, right? But what's also not great is, so he here wants to become a plumber. Plumber, anyone? No? Okay, so no love for plumbers. Well, it turns out, if you build your own house in the middle of nowhere, you have to be a plumber. You don't want to be a plumber. So decentralization doesn't matter all the time. What matters, and this is what Ugo talked about, is renting the right services at the right time. You really don't want to own the entire social media network or everything around it. That doesn't make any sense. So what's more important than that is interoperability. And so this is what really matters to me. So here we go.
Very good, Paul. Okay. I'm gonna try and summarize in one sentence what each person said here. Okay. Essentially, Paul, what you were saying is, this is something we can't truly trust. A big portion of what you were saying was, you're giving things to others, and if you lose control, it's all gone. So what Ben is saying is all fantastic. But if you lose the control, it's gone. And Ben, what you were saying was, essentially, you start off attacking.
Yeah, Google is evil. That's the key takeaway here.
The premise is that Google is evil, but really gaining that independence, right?
Yes.
And owning everything yourself, so you do not need to rely on others to do what it is that you want to do. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, how do you tackle Paul's point about losing access? But before you do that, raise your hand if you've ever either been scammed, lost money, meaning your crypto, or cannot access the crypto that you've purchased. Raise your hand. Wow.
Here we go.
There we go.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
So this is an important question, Ben. Please tell us.
It's a very important question. And it's the first thing that we tell everyone. You have to be safe in this space because it's a Wild West, okay? And so in the Wild West, right, you've got so much opportunity. Why do people go there? It's because it's the gold rush, right? There's so much opportunity in being a new pioneer, but there's also risk. That's absolutely true. There's risk with being the first people, and you're all people who take those risks. So I'm actually really proud of all of you here who raised your hands because you went into a place that was dangerous, that was new, that doesn't have the guardrails that these monopolies like Google, give you, but you went there anyway. And sure, yeah, you lost some money, but as you stay there, the skills that you gain being so early versus everyone else are going to benefit you a lot more. And so the space is dangerous, but every new technology has been dangerous in the past, right? When you were on the internet, there are scams existing on the internet too, right? And it's a bit of a hypocrite, I want to say, because this guy, he was one of the early pioneers of the internet back in the day. So he made this awesome library called jQuery. It powers a lot of the internet and all those things. And what I see right now is really Web3 is very similar to back in 1995 for the internet, 1998, right? And there is a lot of hype. There's a lot of stuff that's not going to go well. There are a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of bubbliness. But the internet today is still a real thing. It powers everything that we're doing today here, right? That's the reason that Nasir, that's the reason that we can all come together. And it's too premature to say that just because there are scams right now, just because it's a Wild West, this space is going to mature over time. Those are going to disappear, but with it is going to disappear the opportunity. And so, by being early here, you do have to be more responsible. You do have to take more ownership yourself, but there's a lot more that you can gain from being so early.
Paul, any response?
So here's the thing, right? Should you all be the guinea pigs in this whole adventure? And my opinion is, you should not be the guinea pigs. You know who should lose money on the crypto world right now? The VCs. They should lose the money. The startups, right? The startups who are figuring it out, great, they should lose money. I don't want you to lose money. You're creators. You're already struggling to stay afloat in many cases. You're trying to make it, you break through, and then you just get scammed, right, with the NFT collection, right, because it's the Wild Wild West, as Ben just said, right?
Paul, I want to ask you, you're so advanced in technology. You are completely immersed in the future. And you are fighting someone here who is spearheading the future. How does that reconcile? How can you, I don't understand.
So I love the future, first of all. I love VR, AR, you know, like miniaturization of batteries. There's so many cool things happening, right? Crypto, I don't think the ideas are flawed. The ideas are all great, right? However, you don't get to start a business by focusing on technology first, right? The best startups don't wake up one day and say like, let me take this table here. I'm now going to figure out what to do with this table, right? No, like the best ideas start with something that you want to do, some product market fit, something that you want to give to your users, to whatever, and then you figure out how to build it. But the problem is a lot of startups right now in the crypto, you know, economy are built with technology in mind first. And I think that's fundamentally wrong, the wrong order.
I got a response to that. And so
I love how also yesterday, Fideas, like, is this seat, what's happening?
it's the
Each
seat
person
that
sits
people
here is
rise
like
in.
up.
I know. Well, I was watching the debate, right? And
It's
I'm
like,
like,
what's going on?
this
I
is a
wanna sit
seat
there.
that wins. So you have to stand up when you're in this seat. But okay, so no, it's true, and that's the same thing that happened in the dot-com bubble, right? You have 90% companies that are there for the wrong reasons. Let's be honest, a lot of people do come into crypto for the money. And a lot of people came into the internet for the money. But that doesn't mean that the internet wasn't actually valuable. Also, in the dot-com bubble came out some of the most valuable companies on the internet, right? Google's an example of that. Amazon's another example. And the same thing is going to happen today. And fundamentally, that premise is flawed, that people are in search of a problem with, you know, some technological solution they have, because crypto was designed itself to solve a problem. And the problem that it was solving was the fact that your money is controlled by all these people that you like can't actually trust. And so literally it was created in 2008, right? Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency invented in the aftermath of the Great Recession, right? When there's this giant financial crisis and they're like, oh, the banks are failing and we have to foot the bill, right? We have to bail these people out. Well, we're tired of bailing these giant corporations that are taking all this money from us, right? That is why Bitcoin was created, to solve that problem. And today, we're all suffering from a problem too. The problem is YouTube is taking 55% of all the money, right? It's not profitable to make content in of itself nearly to the degree that it should be. Obviously, it's profitable for someone. It's profitable for the big corporations, but it's not profitable for the creators. You have to go out, you have to do things like run summits, right? You have to go do brand deals, right? You have to do all these things that you don't really want to do to go make the money that you should be able to make just by making your content. And so that is the problem that we're trying to solve. It's a real problem. There are real people feeling that pain today in this room, and you're trying to stop them from getting that problem solved.
Okay, something we haven't touched on, climate change. And I'm saying this because I think a vast majority, a lot of people here are people with very good intentions for the world. I think that's what making this summit special. But it is known that cryptocurrency is not the best on a grand scale for the world.
Yes!
Well, let's hear it out. I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm raising a point. I'm
news.
Instigating.
It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
So, would any one of you like to address this concern that I just raised?
Sure.
Please.
So here's an actual true fact, right? You know, I'm trying to be extreme here in this conversation, but here's
Maybe
a true,
people can fact check as well. If
here's
they
a
want.
true fact. I actually owned Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I sold all of it. And I sold all of it because I didn't want to participate in the climate issues. So I didn't want to participate in global warming.
But what's the? That's a
And
fact
so-
about yourself. But what's
Yeah.
a fact about the climate change impact?
So the fact is, I mentioned this before, right? But like Bitcoin transactions in a year consume the power of Finland, like Finland, the whole country, right? And so that's maybe not so good. And even on the Ethereum blockchain, if you're minting an NFT, you're consuming, I think, the energy of an American household, I think, for 10 days. So that's kind of crazy, right?
Okay, I think it's important that maybe we simplify and explain the process of these transactions, because half the room knows, but I think half the room doesn't know the process of transactions on the blockchain. So maybe just as a point of knowledge, maybe Ben, just tell us a bit about that. Maybe you want to then confront
Yes.
Paul's thoughts.
Yeah. Awesome. Let me stand up again.
Please.
Okay, cool.
You have to stand up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
It's
right. That's the way to
expected
win
of
is
you.
just to stand up.
If
It's
you
not about,
sit, you will lose.
Thank you. Exactly. I agree. So, okay, yeah, no, there's absolutely truth in that, right? Bitcoin does take a massive amount of energy. And what this happens in is a process called mining. And so you might have heard of that term, Bitcoin mining. It's a way to keep the network secure. And how it works is you have to have a lot of computers that solve a very difficult math problem over time, and then they create new Bitcoin through this. So this is absolutely true. And this is the only way that Bitcoin could get off the ground to invent cryptocurrency, because you needed to have people do a hard thing in order for them to prove that they could actually create new Bitcoin, so that anyone in the world wasn't just able to say, hey, I want some Bitcoin, I can go create some Bitcoin. And so transactions happen when someone solves this really difficult math problem. They can go ahead and create a new block. That's why it's called the blockchain. You put a new block of data onto this giant kind of ledger, database of all the transactions that have happened in the past, and then you can include every transaction. Alice sends 10 ETH or 10 Bitcoin to Bob or something like that. And so that's how a transaction works, and that's absolutely right. Bitcoin takes a lot of energy. And that is just one tiny fraction of the picture, because actually Ethereum, which is the leading kind of actual platform where NFTs and all Web3 is happening, is not on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really just for these monetary transactions as the first. Ethereum takes 99.95% less energy. In fact, Ethereum takes the same amount of energy in 4 months from now. They've invented a new technology called proof of stake as 2,100 American homes. So a tiny, tiny little town in America, not a country like Finland, anything like that can power the entire blockchain. And you have to think about this as the natural evolution of technology. Remember computers back in the day, they used to fill whole houses, right, whole rooms. And that obviously is super environmentally unfriendly, right? But we needed to get through that process to invent the computers that we have today, a smartphone in your hand. That takes so much less energy. And so it's a natural progress. You're attacking a frontier technology in the very early days. And you have to talk about the utility of something. It's not a waste necessarily, because the internet takes 20% of the world's electricity, right? Way more than just Finland. But we don't say the internet is a waste of electricity, because the internet is really useful. And in the same way, we don't say that Bitcoin or Ethereum, all these things are necessarily wastes of energy if they're useful in the world. And so that's how I respond.
Any response?
Well, the interesting thing is that Ethereum is not, so what he's been comparing is proof of work, right, which is the old model of taking a lot of energy, and proof of stake. And so Ethereum is switching to that, that's true. But the jury is still out whether it's going to work. So I'm very curious if it's going to work or not. But, I'm skeptical.
That's great, because when you were talking, I was thinking of the next question. And the question that I have in mind is the future. Okay, we talk a lot about the present, and we're thinking of the future. There's a very strong force in the world pushing towards crypto. And I'm wondering, what do you see for the future? And I'll give an analogy that I'm thinking right now. Any parents in the house? Parents, okay. I think like smartphones. I think ideally our kids don't always use our smartphones when they grow up, okay? But they start using smartphones because that's what's happening. There's a force, and this is a force. So what do you say to Ben about stopping this force in the future when the present is already pushing so fast?
So here's my point. I guess I have to stand up for this, right?
Yes!
So I'm actually really worried about the future that doesn't get created because so many smart people are going into crypto. That's actually what I'm worried about. Because it reminds me of advertising technology in the early 2000s and 2010s, where all the brightest people went into ad tech because they've investors and pumped so much money into this, right? And so now everyone is moving into crypto, and the things that don't get created are all the things that I want to see. I want to see flying cars. I want to see amazing new consumption platforms and discovery websites, I want to see apps, that fulfill actual use cases, real problems, right? Human-to-human problems. As we heard this morning, edge to edge, right? And I don't see a lot of these things being built because so much momentum is moving into crypto, and I'm really worried about it.
Okay, assuming that this actually, fulfills itself, people are able to create those things that you're mentioning. Can you just tell me who are those people? What's the demographics? Where are they coming from? when you envision this kind of technology push? Where are they coming from?
You mean new technology or crypto?
New technology, the things that you were mentioning. Who
Yeah.
are those people that are creating it?
So a lot of people start in, like, we call them FANG companies, right? You know, Apple, Google, Facebook, etc., right? The tech worker industry.
Okay.
And so a lot of them are right now moving into crypto. That's true, right? But usually before crypto, they moved into startups that would solve, you know, first and foremost, consumer problems, right? And now there's a lot of people in the space that are honestly taking years and years to figure things out, right? They know they want to build something on crypto. They don't know what yet. So like they're iterating, they're spending all these years cycling, and you know, it's a little wasteful.
I'll tell you what I think, and then I want to hear what Ben has to say. It sounds like the people who be creating these new things are people with opportunity.
Yes.
And the thing about crypto, from what I'm noticing, is that cryptocurrency enables and empowers people without opportunity. So creating a level field, I want to use that and hand it over to you. If there is there merit to what I'm saying, and if so, what do you have to say to that?
Team Bellic, all right. Okay.
I feel like I'm swaying to here, but I need to be neutral. I'm very neutral.
Very neutral, thank you. Yeah, you help train our class, so there's that for NFTs. But anyway, so yeah, let's dive into all those points. And so there are a lot of talented people coming into crypto, and that's a good thing because I'm actually excited about the world in which we can see all the amazing things that people build with crypto in the exact same way that we saw so many people come into the internet in the bubble, right? So we have this .com bubble, and that was, you know, in a lot of ways people say, okay, that's a bad thing. A lot of people, VCs, whatever, you know, they lost their money in that space. You know, investors lost their money. But there's a large argument that that is actually responsible for the internet as we see it today, because it brought so many talented people into a new technology before it was ready. Because, you know, who makes something ready? Who builds a mature internet? Well, it's really, really smart people who are coming into these new technologies, working on them, right? And so it was because there was so much money coming into the space that we were able to develop the internet into what we see today before a time where it was ready. It's this natural paradox, right? And so it's the same thing that we see with crypto. Crypto is not just this one like evil thing that's, you know, like taking away opportunities. It's, again, we're trying to say it's something that is going to reward everyone. It's going to make people's real life problems a lot better. And you're absolutely right. It gives a lot more opportunity. For example, some of my best friends in NFTs are part of this African collective. There's one of my most favorite artists. You probably know of him if you've seen my course, Vintage Mozart. He's from Zimbabwe. He has never sold his art before in his life. He went 7 years making art, never sold a single piece. Now he regularly sells his pieces for $5,000 to $10,000 as NFTs. And there's no way as an artist in Zimbabwe you would ever be able to access a global market of people who are willing to pay that much for your art, right? The art world is an extremely Western concept. It's really gated to people who live in the Western world. And so that is how crypto breaks down all barriers, because there are no barriers. You can do whatever you want. No one is going to stop you. Whereas what you're saying right here is like opportunities should be kept to just people in Silicon Valley, people who work for Apple, who work for Google, all these companies. These are the only people who can build things in the existing world. In crypto, any smart person, anyone in the world can go and just create whatever you want to see, make the world better. We're going to have Polygon on here later today, right? They were just random people in India, right, who created a $13+ billion company that now runs everything basically in crypto that's cheap on Ethereum. And so, like, literally just two random people in India, right, just managed to do that. Whereas, you know, they're not from Google, they're not from Apple. These are really smart people before who haven't had the opportunity to make things, that are now making things. And I see that really exciting.
I want to give Paul an opportunity to combat what Ben is saying, and then we're going to do a 1-minute closure, final remarks, and then we're going to vote. Okay, so Paul, smash him.
So you know what's decentralized and open and available for everyone? The web. It's true. You know why I know this? Because I was an 11-year-old building a website without asking for permission. And that got me my career started. And I was not in the tech companies. I was not, you know, I dropped out of high school actually, you know. I was in this small town in Germany figuring out how to build websites. So I think this is already a reality today, and I want everyone to build startups, you know, from all the countries in the world. But I don't think you need crypto for that. I really don't think so. And so what Ben is saying, of course, crypto is good. He doesn't want flying cars, right? I say, I want flying cars. So, no, I'm kidding, right? But I really think there's a case for building other things outside of crypto, because what I actually want to say is a lot of the startups that are currently adding crypto to whatever they're doing don't realize that they're making their lives more difficult. For instance, there's this really cool idea that you can own Super Mario, right? Let's say you own a game character. It's an NFT. Great. So now you own it in one game, and you're like, well, the idea here is that you can bring it to every other game, right? You can take Super Mario, you can bring it into Fortnite. Well, it turns out that Fortnite doesn't want you to bring Super Mario because it costs them money to implement. It just doesn't make any financial sense. The idea is good, the dream is good, but there's no business model that supports it to bring those NFTs into different games. So this is one example, but most of the time I see this with startups. It becomes more difficult. Crypto is a difficulty that adds to a startup.
Okay.
Okay, that sound, ladies and gentlemen, means we have come to the end of the debate. They now have 30 seconds each to summation.
30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Okay, so there's going to be a final remarks, okay? You got to sway the audience, and after each one, you can boo and woo simultaneously, okay, just to get you engaged. So we'll start off with, who wants to go first with the final remarks?
You want to go first?
Okay, tell us things we didn't hear, something that's going to blow our mind, that will convince the masses to vote for you. About why crypto sucks. Go on.
So I don't want you to lose your bank account. That's really important, right? I don't want you to be the guinea pigs. I want you to make money, right? I really want you to be empowered. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you one fun fact here. He talked about the Mona Lisa yesterday, right? Who owns the Mona Lisa in crypto? Well, it turns out there's not just one blockchain. There are many, many blockchains. So now everyone owns the Mona Lisa on every single blockchain. Who owns the Mona Lisa? Come on, right? So it's not just Ethereum. So that's a problem. How do you solve for that? I don't know. But we haven't talked about it as a community. So I rest my case.
Okay, Paul, I got it. You're focusing a lot on problems and the risk. Ben, take it away. 30 seconds.
I'm not here to talk about problems. I'm here to talk about opportunities. So I'll tell my personal story. There are two things in my life that have made things immeasurably better in every single way. And the first one is Sire. So him making videos is just the best thing. And then the second one is crypto. And I was living on the side of the street in an RV before I had crypto. Like, literally, there are pictures of me eating canned corn, like, in the RV, in the first video that we did together. And now, I've made millions off crypto. And that's the opportunity. That's not because I'm special in any way. It's literally just because I was able and lucky enough to be early in this new frontier. And that's what I want to see for all of you here, right? And that's what I have seen for so many people who are early in the space. There's so much opportunity here, and that's, are you going to focus on, are you happy with the way that the world is today with things that, we haven't had flying cars even before crypto, right? And so, that's not what's holding people back, right? We need new solutions to new problems that we have, and crypto is a huge part of solving those problems.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Paul and Ben for presenting their cases. Now it's time to get out your phones, stop video mode, start voting. Let's see the Mentimeter on the screen. We can have a tune, a dramatic tune, potentially, DJ Matt. No pressure. Scan that code. Vote who you think has been most convincing. Most convincing. Let's see what's going to happen. This is very non-dramatic music, Matt.
That was good.
Okay,
get
we have
voting,
some
people.
votes. Can
Get
we see
voting.
the results?
1, 2.
Can we see the results of the poll as well, team? I think we have 9 people that voted. Oh, wow, 172. I'm on Team Ben with 117. Paul is at 95. Paul is at 106. Paul is at 110. 150 to Ben. How are we feeling about this, gentlemen? How are we feeling about this? We're at a 30 difference with 319 people.
Wow,
keep
that's
voting,
close.
keep voting.
Wow.
Paul's getting closer. Paul's getting closer. Paul's getting closer.
Yes,
20,
yes.
less than 20. Oh, wow. 10, 5, 2, 3. What?
Yes!
What? Oh my goodness, keep voting. Give it a couple more seconds. Oh my goodness, what an upset. Oh no, it's coming back. It's coming back. Let's count it off. 500 people, Nusire. 500 people are voting. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we have a victory. You can stand up, you can give a round of applause to Paul. Paul has been most convincing. Crypto is not a good idea. Crypto is not a good idea. Shocking, I know. Shocking. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hold on. We need it.
That's really great.
We have to close this, otherwise someone's gonna push Ben up. Can we have a victory speech?
I don't know. Sure.
Yes, can you give us a victory speech? How you feel, who you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my wife and my daughter and my family. And No, this was a lot of fun. I want to thank Ben first and foremost. This was great. Thank you so much.
Let's hug, let's hug. That was amazing, man.
And honestly,
Low,
if
low,
crypto
low.
works for you, great. But
Hello,
don't
hello.
be a guinea pig.